Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, max out your savings. The more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Plus, get free home delivery on any smart bed with base. Limited time. Check it out at a Sleep Number store near you or at sleepnumber.com today.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
The kettle's boiled, Vic.
Great. Perfect timing. Just a dash of milk for me, please, mate.
Here you go. Shall we get started then?
Have you ever woken up on a Sunday morning and said, I'm never drinking again, and then found yourself waving $50 at a barman by happy hour?
Are you wondering why everyone else can stop at 1 while you head to a dodgy after-party with a weird bloke called Disco Dave? If so, it might be time to take a deeper look at your relationship with your reliable social crutch, alcohol.
On each episode, we'll investigate our own dysfunctional dealings with booze and find out if it's possible to stop this deeply ingrained habit before things get too messy.
Yep, we're going to open up a shame shed of humiliating drinking stories to help you understand why waking up from a booze coma each weekend with a kebab sticking out of your top pocket might actually be negatively impacting your health.
Hamish and I are here to delve into what it's like being sober, an unwanted warts and all look into why giving up those cheeky pints or putting down those mummy wines will make you feel happier, help your anxiety and mental health, and turn you into the most sparkly, authentic version of you.
Won't that mean I become boring though, Vic?
Well, Hamish, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm Victoria Vanstone.
I'm Hamish Adams-Cairns.
And this is Sober Awkward.
So, Vic, we had an Irish day at work this week, right? And they set all these competitions that were all on the phones. One of which was make an entire cold call in an Irish accent.
Oh.
Not a strength of mine. I've heard some of your accents before as well. You're good at some, not so good at others. I wanted you to share, are there any that you feel like you're great at?
Well, I was going to do my Vera Lynn impression, but I just thought maybe people won't know who Vera Lynn is. And
I think you'll lose half the audience. Yeah,
I think more than half, Hamish. I'm not sure there's any sort of 80-year-old war veterans tuning in, do you?
But they'd really appreciate it. That'd be their favourite part of any podcast we've ever done.
Vic's on. She's got her war medley coming on. I can do Irish, and the only way I can do it is by putting my bottom teeth, protruding them over my top lip. Like, okay, hello there. He can see me. You can't see me.
It's good.
It's going to cause issues with the Irish community, this. But hello there. How are you doing, Hamish?
The only way that I can do Irish, and I can only do Northern Irish, is I can only say one thing, which is, welcome to George Best Belfast City Airport. That's the only one I can do.
It's very melodic, Hamish. Well done. What is the point of all of this?
There's really no point to that. I just thought I thought of you. If I have a moment in my life and I think of you, I feel like I should share that on the podcast.
You think about me all the time, don't you?
No, not as much as you'd like.
Yeah, you do. You think about me all the time.
Time this year.
You've got to stop thinking about me so much. It's an issue. So this episode is not surprisingly, Hamish, about your complete obsession with me. It's actually been inspired by what must be one of the most common excuses for anyone choosing not to go sober.
Yes, I would put all of my chips on this being one of the most common excuses. And it is, I'm not alcoholic enough to stop. Or I'm not as bad as them is an absolute classic. We all have a friend in mind or someone that lives down the street or a dodgy neighbour. It's the perfect example of pointing fingers to try and divert the attention away from our own drinking problems. And do you want to know something great about this topic, Vic?
Go on then.
That's the level of enthusiasm I want going into this. Well, I don't want to big it up too much, but I feel like this is exactly one that you and I are knowledgeable enough to offer an opinion on, right? Because I feel as if we've been quite busy, particularly these last few weeks, interviewing experts on trauma, on gut health, on genetic addiction, mainly because we don't know much about it, so we outsource it. But this one's ours, Vic.
Oh, yes, we're claiming it, we're owning it. So the pressure's on for us to do a good job here, Hame.
Yeah.
Both Hame and I gave up alcohol despite not being what society would have labelled an alcoholic. But I did do a few online tests that suggested I might be. And you've got a few horror stories, hey, Hamish, from your drinking days. But we found sobriety without reaching the famous rock bottom of addiction.
So in today's episode, we're going to outline 5 reasons as to why the "I'm not enough of an alcoholic to stop" excuse is such a common one. And, as ever, we're going to back it up with scientific evidence.
Yeah, scientific evidence. Where did you find this scientific evidence this week, Hamish? From your trouser pocket? Fill out on an old piece of paper.
I tell you where it's not from is me sitting in libraries just going through scientific documents.
Yeah.
We hope that by poking and prodding this famous "I'm not alcoholic enough" excuse to stop, to the point where it is feeble and weak and pathetic as I often am, which is a bit harsh given I wrote that myself, you will be better equipped to see through it.
So whether you're a person using this excuse... God, what's wrong with us today? We're all slippy sloppy, aren't we? I sound like, I don't know, a snake, a little snaky.
Drunk. Let's call it what it is. We both sound drunk.
We are both absolutely wasted. Absolutely wasted. So whether you're a person using this excuse or whether it's someone you know, this is the episode for you. We say that a lot though, don't we? Every episode is an episode for you.
Before we dive into the 5 reasons, and to save ourselves from being called complete hypocrites, I thought we should begin by addressing whether or not this is an excuse that we have used ourselves, Vic. All right, so we're not getting on our high horse here. Vic, did you ever use this excuse to not go sober?
I did, Hamish, because I thought a classic alcoholic was someone that did not look like me. That's a stupid thing to say, I realise now. I'm going to go into it a little bit here. I thought alcoholics were men wearing crumpled trench coats, sipping warm vodka out of a paper bag at 10 a.m, muttering to themselves while on a park bench, or a woman in a dressing gown, hair like a bird's nest, mascara smeared across her cheekbones, clutching a half-empty bottle of wine and shouting at a toaster. That is what my imagination springs to mind when somebody uses the word alcoholic, and I just thought, well, I am not that. The classic alcoholic is often depicted as someone who's hit a full rock bottom. Think losing jobs, losing teeth, possibly losing track of what century it is. Basically, society's version of an alcoholic is someone so far gone that your nan could probably point them out on the street and go, look, that person has an issue. And as you can see, that is not me. Although I do have bird's nest hair and mascara down my face, and I do often shout at a toaster, Hamish, but that's just due to parenting, not to alcoholism.
The way you look today is exactly the way that I think alcoholics look.
Yeah. You're so right. I'm glad no one else...
Come dressed as an alcoholic to a sober podcast that's not visual.
It's my alcoholic fancy dress outfit. Yeah, do you like it? It's just my general look, actually. But in reality, I think perhaps, Hame, the modern alcoholic is often hiding in plain sight, making packed lunches, leading Zoom meetings, putting the bins out like a functioning human, while probably secretly questioning if it's too early to have a mimosa. It was a shock to me that not all alcoholics look like Hollywood drunks, or that bottle-clinching cliche that we all spring to. Most of them look like someone's mum at school pickup, someone's boss, someone's best mate. Someone just trying to hold it together while quietly unravelling, perhaps, in the queue at the bottle shop. You know, you see these people coming and going from the bottle shop all the time, Hamish. And I do wonder if it's someone who perhaps has a problem, even though they look like me. They don't look like your classic alcoholic. I think I kept that imagination of what was too far gone in order to not face a problem. I think that was my excuse. I was a social drinker and I normalised it. I just thought, well, I'm not that far gone. I'm okay. Even though I was suffering from crippling anxiety. Alcohol was causing me to be mentally ill, but I was still like, I am not that. I am not, we assume, what an alcoholic looks like. Did you do the old I'm not as bad as them excuse?
I don't actually think I ever said that out loud, but I certainly thought it. I think I found some comfort and satisfaction in the fact that most of my mates were bigger wreckheads than me. So I never really had to turn the lens inward because I was like, well, all of my mates are wreckheads and I'm sort of somewhere near the bottom. So there's no issue to see here. I think having gone sober for 2015, I did the whole diary year of 2015 sober. I began drinking again from literally 1 second into 2016. And I guess I'd proven in that time that I didn't have a problem with drinking, so it was fine for me to start again. We talked about this in our end of dry January episode, that you sort of prove to yourself and to everyone watching you that you don't have a problem because you were able to do 30 days or 12 months or however long the challenge is. So then you're like, okay, cool. So I'm totally fine. I can start drinking again. I think that excuse was actually a fear that I had when I first announced I was sober. So it was actually working the other way around. I thought it was going to be used against me as a form of peer pressure. That my friends would go, why are you sober? You weren't even a heavy drinker. You weren't even a pisshead, let alone an alcoholic, whatever that means. So I was kind of scared of it being weaponized against me as a sober person rather than hiding behind it as a current drinker.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Okay, so let's find out what the dictionary says.
This is what the Cambridge Dictionary said, what the definition of an alcoholic is. A person who is unable to give up the habit of drinking alcohol very often and in large amounts. Now, that is very wishy-washy, isn't it, Hamish? Because where is the line drawn there? And how much is too much? And when do you know when you've stepped over from being a normal drinker to an alcoholic? That's my problem with that definition. I find it really confusing because it doesn't say where or when or how you become an alcoholic. It gives no other information. It says you should know when you are drinking too much alcohol than when it's a problem, which of course none of us know. And that's the problem with using these terms and trying to fit it into a box, is because nobody actually really knows when they've crossed that line.
It feels a little bit to me like it's one size fits all. We go, okay, well, if I'm not drinking alcohol very often, or if I'm not drinking alcohol in large amounts, I can't be an alcoholic. Yeah. Whereas actually some alcoholics don't drink every day. Some alcoholics aren't drinking insane amounts of alcohol, but it only takes a little bit for them to get drunk.
Yeah.
So I think you can hide behind it. I actually had this conversation with a friend at work yesterday about what is an alcoholic. And I'm not, I don't even think you should read a definition of it. No. I think all of us have got an image in our brain of what an alcoholic is. And I think we almost just need to end the word alcoholic. I don't think it works anymore, this idea of an alcoholic, because there is no clear definition. It's not to do with how often you're drinking or how much you're drinking or whether or not it costs you your job or whatever. That's why we try and use this alcohol use disorder term a little bit more. But really, the main point is you don't have to be whatever an alcoholic is to give up booze. And I think we hide behind this image of an alcoholic to sort of maintain our drinking days for as long as we can.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Somebody on a podcast the other day interviewed me and asked me how I would define an alcoholic, this exact question. And I said, look, it's very, very difficult because there is a very, very vast, long spectrum of people involved in this. There's a huge amount of people in this world who drink but don't consider themselves to have a problem. But what I said was this. I can't remember now.
Perfect. A point well made.
I think that must be hormonal. It's just completely dropped out of my head. What did I say? I said, anyone who is having negative impact from alcohol. So that might be a hangover. That could be that you do a sickie from work. It could be that you just feel a bit anxious or that you don't feel 100% when you're looking after the kids. I would say any level of negative impact, no matter what that is worthy of seeking help for. So that was kind of my message, which it always is, you're worthy of seeking professional support, no matter where you sit on that vast spectrum. So I found it really, really hard to kind of pin it down, but that is how I would define it.
And at AA, they use quite a open approach, which is they say the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking.
I think that's far more open. Yeah, I think that's more embracing, isn't it, than just saying you are this or you are that. It's saying, look, anyone who is considering or even questioning their alcohol intake is welcome, and we're here to deal with that. That makes that line scrub out, doesn't it? And it doesn't matter whether you've crossed it or not. We're just here to talk about alcohol, like this podcast, Hame. We're just here to talk about alcohol. We're not saying that somebody that drinks one glass of wine a week is any worse or better that somebody drinks, a shot of whiskey in the morning. It's just we're here to talk about alcohol and discover the ins and outs of it so that we can help people understand their own relationship with it.
So we know that both of us, and I'm sure many of the listeners, hide behind the person that lives down the street, the friend of ours who's a heavier drinker, the booziest family member. We hide behind their struggles and find a little bit of security in doing so. The question is, why? Well, the "I'm not alcoholic enough to stop" excuse is common because it reflects the mindset of someone who is grappling with the idea of their drinking habits, but doesn't fully recognise the seriousness of their behaviour or its consequences. I've identified 5 reasons that underpin this. It's weird how often this episode turns into our version of Top of the Pops for sobriety, isn't it?
I think it's Hame because we both grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I used to sit with my video recorder recording every single song that I liked on Top of the Pops on a Thursday night. I was completely obsessed, and I was in love with Mike Reid. I think Mike Reid is probably a bit before your time. Keith Chegwin used to do it. Do you remember him? These are all before your time, yeah. You were more of a Pat Sharp Top of the Pops era, were you?
Was it not Fern Cotton?
Oh, God, yeah, that's
I was
ages.
Way later.
Way later.
I used to do that with the radio, with recording songs off the radio. So
Yes.
I always resented radio presenters who spoke at the end of the song or at the beginning. And then when I became a radio presenter, I was told to do that. And I was like, I can't do this to my child self. Talk at the beginning and the end. Because if anyone's trying to rip it off on a little cassette player, I'll be disappointing them.
Yeah.
Okay, coming in at number 5, it is denial. Denial is a psychological defense mechanism where we refuse to acknowledge the existence of a problem. In the context of addiction, denial allows individuals to avoid confronting the consequences of their drinking behavior. I found a study published in a paper called Addiction,
Good
which
name.
highlighted that people with alcohol use disorders often underestimate their drinking compared to others, which contributes to a delayed acknowledgement of a problem. This was actually something that you mentioned on a podcast of ours recently, I think, that, you know, when you go out sober, you realise that very few people were drinking at the pace that you were when you were drinking.
Yeah, there was one particular moment when I was out with my mother's group. It was quite towards the end of my drinking, actually. And I remember it was like one of the first times out and we were all getting wasted. We'd been really good mummies for weeks on end, and it was the Saturday night and we were going to a cheese and wine event. And the last thing I remember is just puking up loads of cheese and wine in a toilet. I remember one point that evening where I was up at the bar ordering a round of shots and turning around and seeing all the mums sat around the table, all with straight backs, looking quite prim and proper with their lovely coiffed bobs and just looking so together. And I was up at the bar like a raging maniac, trying to get as many drinks down my neck as I possibly could because I felt like I needed that reward for being such a wonderful mum for that 2 weeks. I wanted to get totally blotto. And I just remember turning around and looking at this group of women and thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? Come on, like, this is our night out. Like, come on, we've got to get the drinks in, and trying to force some shots down their necks, some shots of tequila, and then looking a bit disgusted. But when I look back, I realise now that I was always the drunkest person in the room. Very rarely was there someone drunker than me. And I was in denial because I had no idea what to do if I didn't drink. Drinking was my total identity. The party girl was who I was 100%. Denial happened for so many reasons for me, but mine was because I could not see beyond my own reputation. And even in that one situation, I knew that my reputation going in there was to get the drunkest and to show everyone a good time. And that was a huge responsibility for me. But I was totally in denial. And that was one of the first times that I looked around and go, gosh, they've all got it together and I'm a complete mess. What is going on with me?
I had a similar thing when I was young, and it was all about like how much you could drink. Like the cool kids could drink loads. I was never able to drink loads. I can remember like waking up after a big night and people be like, I had 10 pints last night.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I was getting hammered on 3. You know, so I was sort of able, even from a young age, to go, well, like, clearly I do not have an issue here. I remember also thinking, I'm never going to be that cool guy that can have 10 pints. I feel like the girls were into the guys that could drink loads and smoke cigarettes and like roll spliffs. And I was like, I'm not that guy. I'm a lightweight and I always will be. And I always was.
Yeah. It's funny that we just go on denying and denying and denying, isn't it? I think there's only so long that you can deny a drink problem before something happens that's going to snap you out of that denial. Like for me, it was anxiety that snapped me out to go, okay, I can deny this problem for as long as I feel like doing. This is going to go on and on and on, but it means my anxiety is going to go on and on. And I think usually the only thing that's going to snap you out of denial is to sort of reassess and pause for a moment moment and go, look, okay, what is the reality of this situation? Can you have those moments of lucidity when you're a drinker and go, is this okay? And I definitely recommend that to anyone that's in denial about their drinking now, is just to sit for a moment, have a look around the room and go, look, is everybody drinking as much as I am? Is everybody being responsible? And am I the only one that's really getting it down my neck tonight? Why am I always the drunkest in the room? Because it's a really good question to ask yourself. Usually those questions come on a Sunday morning, because when you're out, you don't take a moment to take care of yourself or take in your environment. But it would be really good just to take a moment when you're out and go, okay, is everyone else drinking as much as I am? Because it might become very, very clear that you're actually drinking more than everybody else.
Well, also, I think on that, it's very easy to look around at a party and go, well, I'm not drinking as much as everyone else, so I can't have a problem. But I would say the next morning, is everyone feeling as bad as you are? Because, for you might have been the biggest piss out of the night out, but you had huge anxiety on a hangover, which is the bit that people don't talk about. We all talk about the great night out. We don't talk about hating ourselves the morning after. And if you're hating yourselves the morning after, you need help. You need to think about giving this up.
Yeah. And I just used to lie there. I used to see Facebook posts coming up of the women that I'd been out with the night before, and they'd all be acting normal. Like they'd be going out to the park with their kids, and you'd be at the ball pit and at the play centre and doing all these normal mummy things. And I would be lying in bed, not able to move my head. And the only place I would go would be to the toilet to be sick. I was so ill. And I think that can only go on for so long before you have to self-reflect. So eventually, but we don't want people to get to that state. If you are in denial, have a look at that denial and go, actually, maybe I need to look at my drinking habit, no matter if it's that one glass of wine or that 10 pints at the weekend. Coming in at number 4 is your old mate stigma. Okay. This is a good one. The stigma surrounding alcoholism and addiction is a major barrier to seeking help. This stigma stems from negative stereotypes about alcoholics being weak or morally flawed. I mean, I definitely was morally flawed. And it's the exact reason that both of us feel very conscious of even using the word alcoholic on the podcast. Some people use the negativity around the label to inspire change, whereas for others, like me, I have never been able to fully accept the idea that my drinking was that of an alcoholic. I just can't. I don't know why. I might be. I probably need to do a bit of therapy about that, Hamish. Stigma is a significant factor preventing people from seeking treatment for substance abuse disorders. We are so scared of being judged for our drinking that we'd rather not face up to it. So instead just carry on drinking, often secretly. And we all know what physical and mental isolation lead to. More drinking, of course.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, max out your savings. The more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Plus, get free home delivery on any smart bed with base. Limited time. Check it out at a Sleep Number store near you or at sleepnumber.com today.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
I would say that there is still a fear of judgment within sobriety, in that when you tell someone, I'm sober or I don't drink, they paint the picture of you as an alcoholic. And you have to sort of, if you weren't, like you or me, you sort of maybe feel a need to then repaint that picture. Oh, by the way, I wasn't a huge drinker. I just, I'm doing it for health, and my life seems better since I went sober.
Okay.
I definitely feel that I'm being judged as a sober person, which I sometimes enjoy, depending on the person. If I don't know them, I'll say I'm sober, and then I watch them do the maths and paint the picture, and I'll just leave it hanging there like a bad smell. And I walk off, and they're terrified of me.
Yeah. I think I have a real issue with this, Hamish. I don't know why. You can help me unravel this a little bit. I don't know why I cannot say I am an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Why do you think it is?
I think because you still have an image in your head of what an alcoholic is. I actually think you would be able to label yourself an alcoholic if you weren't a parent. I think it's something deep in you to do with not wanting to be like the alcoholic parent newspaper title. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe it's that. And maybe you don't want your kids to grow up with this perception, oh, well, mum was an alcoholic in my early years. I think maybe it's that. I feel like you've also always said that although you don't feel like you're an alcoholic, you probably were. Or you've always said, I was an alcoholic, but I did loads of tests that said I was.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like you're open to the idea, but maybe just the acceptance of that label is too big for you. And I don't think it actually matters, Like, does it actually matter? I'm sure people in AA would argue that it does matter. But for you, like, the story is you got sober. That's the story. That's the headline. Whether or not you were or weren't an alcoholic, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think it could have something also to do with not wanting to let down my parents, or my parents to think that two of their daughters are alcoholics, because my sister does refer to herself as an alcoholic. She went sober through AA. She's 26 years sober, or even more than that now. And she's quite happy to use the term, but I didn't go down that track. But I can see now that I definitely have a problem with calling myself an alcoholic, perhaps because of this stigma that we're talking about today, and because it's so ingrained in me to think that that is a certain type of person. But I don't know why I would care that somebody thought of me as an alcoholic, because I don't really care what people think that much. But at the same time, I am not that image of an alcoholic that conjures up into their brain. So therefore, I'm kind of trying to open a door to a different way of looking at what alcoholism is. And I guess that's kind of my job, is to try and do that. So I think I try and stick to what I know, which is say, look, I was a socially acceptable binge drinker, and it's okay for you to be a socially acceptable binge drinker, but still get help. And that is our message, isn't it? So, yeah, it's really confusing, but sometimes I feel like maybe I just need to own it, and maybe that would help lessen the stigma as well.
Well, I think what you've just said actually makes more sense, which is that you're not afraid of being stigmatized yourself and people thinking she was an alcoholic, but you are afraid of people thinking that of your parents. That your parents are stigmatized as, oh, they're the ones who had two alcoholic children, because then the implication is, well, they must have done something awful, or they failed as parents, or, where did they drop the ball? So maybe it's that. Maybe it's you don't want others to be affected by you being labelled an alcoholic. Yeah. You can take it, but you're worried that other people might not be able to. Yeah,
and I guess there's a lot of fear of judgment in there as well. Yeah, it's very multi-layered, actually, this topic.
I'm really glad that Top of the Pops wasn't formatted this way. Number 5, denial. Number 4, stigma. It would not have been as good a show if it was about sobriety, would it?
We would not have been recording it with our fingers on play and pause, would we all play and record?
No,
we would have been fast forwarding. I think probably people are fast forwarding this, quite honestly. Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. Yeah.
Okay, coming in at number 3 for you tonight.
30-second skip right now.
Number 3, ladies and gentlemen, it is cultural acceptance. Alcohol consumption is deeply ingrained in many cultures, making it difficult for individuals to recognise when their drinking becomes harmful. Cultural norms play a significant role in shaping perceptions of acceptable drinking behaviour. As I've often said, in the eyes of society, I was a normal drinker who would get pissed once or twice a week, or every day I was on holiday, or if there was a birthday or a sporting fixture or a public holiday or a leaving party, or really any excuse at all, I would go for it.
The old normal drinker, yes.
Just like all the normal
last 15 years of your life, yeah.
Exactly. I've got another published paper to share with you all here, which is one called Alcohol Research Current Reviews. Great bedtime reading. Would recommend all of these. 30-second forward. Okay, so that paper found that people are more likely to drink heavily if they believe it is socially acceptable or see others doing so.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yep.
Vic, you grew up in a household that loved to host parties where the alcohol would flow quite readily. I grew up in a boarding school where everyone would get pissed as often as possible. Not to do so would have been insane, in my opinion. And we all know how acceptable boozing has become in society today. It's actually an expectation at every party or weekend gathering. It is the most acceptable, deadly, toxic poison that has ever been, which only feeds this concept that our drinking is not bad enough to stop. Everyone's doing it, we tell ourselves. From 14-year-olds in the park to 19-year-olds sipping on martinis at home.
I had an interesting experience this week, Hamish. I share our episodes each week on sort of different Facebook groups to get our episodes out there. I often get banned from a lot of Facebook groups, obviously, because I click no spamming and no advertising your own products, but I always stick a little Sober Awkward episode on there. Only because I think it will I'm not trying to make money out of it. I just think people will benefit from it, so I like to share them.
Do you admit that you're the host? Or you're like, I listened to this oh, you shouldn't. You should be like, I found a fantastic podcast and I highly recommend it. It changed my life.
No, I did that once. I got caught out. Somebody emailed me and said, I know it's you.
Oh, shit.
I know it's you advertising your own stuff. No, I do like to share them. And often that means in these groups, you get a very heated response sometimes. Because the last episode that we did was, do you stop maturing when you start drinking alcohol? And I realised for some people that might be a little bit like poking them in the eye. And one woman wrote underneath, this was lovely. We like sharing these awful emails that we get, don't we, Hamish?
Go on.
One woman wrote underneath, just because your drinking story and your life as a drinker was about when you were young, dumb and full of cum.
Nice.
Yeah. What do you say to that?
She was like, was there more to the point?
Well, yeah, her point was that, like, I've got terrible trauma and terrible schizophrenia and all of these terrible things have happened to me, so therefore I drank to numb the voices in my head, is what she said. And I was like, okay, but I can't tell everybody's story. She was actually right. I was young, dumb and full of cum, quite honestly.
I don't know what
that's
her
not the point.
is. We're not denying that people drink because of grief and trauma.
We are into the top 2 now. Not that these are given in any particular order, but the number 2 reason is fear of change. This is a well-known psychological barrier in addiction treatment. People often fear the uncertainty and difficulty of life without alcohol, making them hesitant to acknowledge their problem. I definitely feel that in my bones. You're all familiar with this. Who would I be without booze? It's my identity. It's what makes me fun, extroverted, a good dancer, a sex god or a sex goddess. The Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs examined this phenomenon, showing that fear of withdrawal, fear of losing social connections, and fear of lifestyle changes contribute to ambivalence about seeking help for alcohol use disorders. We are so wedded to the person that alcohol has made us that we forget who we are without it, or who we were before it entered our lives.
So I had a thought about this recently. So a friend of mine has got a tattoo of a glass of wine on her. I have quite a lot of friends who tattoo like a beer or, a brand.
Yeah.
It's quite a common tattoo, right? And I kind of feel like that is taking the I'm a drinker as an identity to such an extreme place that I kind of feel like, God, if you were going to try and get sober now, you'd have this constant reminder on your body.
Yeah.
I feel like that is such a tough way to get sober, is if you've gone to the decision of tattooing booze on your body. Like, that is my identity. Look at my arm. It hit home for me. I was like, you're never going to be able to escape this idea that you are a boozer if you've made that decision.
That is so true. What's the worst tattoo you've ever seen?
Quite a lot of people I know have got camels on their toe, which I quite like.
Oh, yeah, that's quite funny.
Yeah. What's the worst
I
you've
saw
seen?
2 worst ones I've ever seen was a guy that I knew in France years ago who had a W on each arse cheek. So when he pulled his trousers down at a party, it said, wow.
You have told me that. I love it.
Yeah, that was a good one. And the other one I saw, I was queuing up behind someone. It was years ago. I don't know why I still remember it. But it was a tattoo of Mickey Mouse on their neck, just at the base of her neck, this girl. And it was Mickey Mouse. And I kind of peered in and was like, oh, she's got a tattoo of Mickey Mouse. But it was a tattoo of Mickey Mouse with a massive knob wanking with sperm going across her back.
She's lost a bet. She's 100% lost a bet.
God, I'd almost tapped her on the shoulder. I was like, what? I had to squint. I had to get up close. I was like, surely this can't be real. Why would anyone get that? So weird.
There's a story behind that.
Yeah, it was gross. Made me feel sick. But yeah, I am thinking of getting one.
Yeah. On your neck.
And with young, dumb and full of cum written next to it.
Hashtag young, dumb, full of cum. You got me down for the kids. Figuring out who you were before booze is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most rewarding thing about going sober. Our fifth and final reason that we hide behind this famous excuse to not go sober is...
A minge.
A minge. That'd be a really great way to finish a top 5. A minge. Just kidding. There's only 4 good points and a little joke at the end.
Read that thing. Read the sentence again and I'll do it. Go on. Fifth and final reason.
I feel like I'm announcing a winner of like Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah, go on, do it.
And final reason that we hide behind this famous excuse to not go sober is...
Minge.
Minge!
A misconception about alcoholism. Many people have a narrow or stereotypical view of what constitutes alcoholism, which can delay recognition of a drinking problem. I definitely have that. Alcoholics are people who drink all day, every day. That's what I thought. Who wake up with a bottle of whiskey, who drink on park benches and smell of wee. That is totally right. I do think that. Who often choose booze over their careers, their family and friends, or that's an alcoholic and that's not me. We tell ourselves those things over and over again. Let us remind you that the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism describes alcohol use disorder, or AUD, as a spectrum. We talk about this spectrum all the time. It's so important. It emphasises that AUD encompasses a range of behaviours from mild to severe, and many people with moderate drinking problems may not recognise the signs. That's why so many people who misuse alcohol may not identify as an alcoholic. Me. And we think that only alcoholics need to go sober. Everyone else is just fine.
Let us be the examples here, God help you, as 2 people who were able to go sober without looking at all like alcoholics. I wanted to end this episode by giving you all some hope. We've taught you why the my drinking isn't bad enough excuse is complete bollocks, and now we want to give you a few quick insights into why going sober before reaching this supposed rock bottom is the best way to do it. So Vic, what is the benefit of giving up even if you don't have a heavy drinking problem?
I mean, it's easier to give up because you don't have to suffer the withdrawal. But I will say here that you might feel like it's easier to go back if you never feel like you had a problem. But I think that's the point, isn't it, Hamish? It doesn't have to be a problem to give up. So it definitely will be easier if you stop drinking earlier in your drinking habit or earlier in your life. Like, don't carry it on and then have to deal with withdrawal and deal with a massive problem like we do imagine an alcoholic to look like.
I would say whether or not you give up with or without a problem, not only is it easier to give up without a problem, but also you still get all of the benefits of going sober without the hardship. It's going to not be as tough. You're going to get the physical and mental health benefits. You're going to get the financial benefits, the focus, the improved sleep, the million things that we always list about going sober.
And you will inspire a wider audience to follow suit. I mean, my husband's given up drinking. That's a perfect example.
That's it. We're always trying to do that. You are going to normalise sobriety to anyone, not just what society has labelled alcoholics.
You speed up the process of self-discovery, which would have been impossible had you continued your socially acceptable boozing for years to come.
And finally, just to reveal the worst kept secret within sobriety, for those that don't already know it, going sober is not about giving up alcohol. That's level 1. That puts the framework in position. Going sober is all about the beautiful things that come after it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just wanted to add one there, Hamish, is that you skip more shame if you give up now, no matter how bad your drinking problem is. I think of what we do trying to get people sober before the party bus crashes, Hamish, as a sort of shame prevention programme. The longer drinking goes on, the more, sort of sticky it can get. Getting off the bus early before there's engine trouble, before the shame and physical addiction set in, is always going to be the better option for you and for everyone you know.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Oh, good. So, the kids are home. This could go horribly wrong, Hamish. I've just heard them get back from school. So, if you've been listening to this episode and are nodding along because you or someone you love has been hiding behind this excuse, then don't worry. We hid behind that excuse too. But now it's time to act.
We've tried to demystify why this excuse is so popular and so strong amongst those that hold boozing close to their heart. But it's not protecting you. It is delaying the benefits that are sitting just behind it. Let it go. Don't be afraid of trying something new, of trying a new identity out for size 2.
Oh, yes, I love that, Hamish. Try a new identity out for size. I mean, you've done drinking. Maybe it's time to try something new that doesn't involve driving or crashing any party buses.
Time to get the old push bike out.
Get your bicycle clips out and let's go for a ride. I was on ChatGPT earlier and I decided to ask it a few questions. I didn't mention booze at all in ChatGPT. I just said, give me a classic Australian person.
I just chucked a sickie to hit the servo for a sausage roll and a chocky milk before heading to Macca's. Then I'll swing by Dan Murphy's for a slab. Reckon we'll crack a cold one arvo at Gazzy's if the bloody magpies don't swoop me on the way.
I mean, that's cultural pressure right there, isn't it? Even ChatGPT thinks it. So then, because I saw that, I thought, well, I'm going to ask him to sum up an English person for me. Okay, so this is what it said.
Okay, wait. I want you to do it in a...
It's got to be English accent.
Yeah, but maybe
Posh
like
English.
West Country. No, West Country. Can you do farmer?
Or I can do farmer. I popped the kettle on after a cheeky moan about the weather, had a custard cream and a swift G&T, and then nipped to Tesco in my joggers and caught a queue behind someone arguing over a club card deal. And 2 for 1 Prosecco. Absolutely livid. And too polite to say anything, obviously.
Wow, obviously it was an interesting accent right at the end. Drop the ball at the final hurdle.
But isn't it mental?
Okay, so there it mentioned G&T, it mentioned Prosecco. I guess both. Yeah, we've always known the Brits and the Aussies, we're in the same boat here.
So it shows that we're kind of up against it, aren't we, Hamish? We're up against the cultural river that is flowing in the opposite way to us, I would say. The river of booze is going that way and the river of fizzy water is not flowing.
That's it. Even the bloody AI is up against us. Hey, coming here, taking all our jobs.
Oh, God, the last thing we need is alcoholic drunk robots, Hamish. That would be the worst. Thank you for listening.
Oh, God.
Probably my best accent so far. Robot. Bye. If you're questioning your relationship with booze, you're struggling to moderate, or your hangovers are causing anxiety, it might be time to reach out for some support.
Yeah, just talk to a mate about how you're feeling, contact a local doctor, find an AA or sobriety group. Vic's got one.
Yeah, just head to www.cuppa.community.
Remember, if you're questioning yourself, it might be time to seek support.
Even though this journey can be awkward, it is definitely worth it. And if you've enjoyed the Sober Awkward podcast, don't forget to review it, rate it, and share it with your mates.
They have to share it with their mates?
Yeah, of course they do. I'm not doing this for nothing, Hamish. Bloody hell.
How do they share it?
I don't know, just write it on the... So, as you probably know, my comedy memoir, 1,000 Wasted Sundays, is officially out. All my magnificent fuck-uppery in one awkward hit. If you'd like to get your hands on a copy, it's now available from all good bookstores.
We always say all good bookstores, don't we?
Yeah.
Are there bad
No,
bookstores?
probably ones with moody sellers.
Oh, yeah, really
Yeah.
depressed librarian folk.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah. So there are probably some, but we're only storing it in the good ones.
It's only made it into the goodies.
You can also get it from all good online retailers. The print version and ebook are out now, and the audiobook will be available in March. I've been writing my memoir for 5 years. It will make you laugh, cry and cringe, and hopefully inspire a few people to reconsider their relationship with booze. If you love the podcast, then I think you'll love the book, even if I do say so myself. Hamish has read it. What did you think?
I feel like I know a little bit too much about you now, to be honest, Vic. Look, I really loved it. It was hilarious and surprisingly moving, but I feel like I've seen you naked in a literary sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's worrying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From an emotional point of view, seriously, it wobbled my teeny weeny wooden heart, Vic.
Okay.
My teeny little wooden heart.
Well, his teeny little, his wooden heart is broken. Anyway, so if you do manage to get your filthy mitts on a copy, please do me a favour and head to goodreads.com and give me a review. Doing that will help me get it out there to those that need a bit of sober support. So there you have it. My story, unwanted warts and all. Come and get awkward with me.
Not to be too demanding or anything, but seriously, go and buy it
Yeah,
now.
go and buy it. Go and buy it right now.
Yeah, don't just tell your friends, buy it, and then buy your friends one or two.
Yeah, don't give them a copy. Buy it. Yeah.
And you know what? Don't be careful where you store it. If you lose it, you can always buy another 5.
Buy another one.
Yeah.